poetry. I got a poem entitled Meeting at Night by Robert Browning. The gray sea and the long black land, and the yellow half moon that's and low, and the starlit little waves that leap in fiery ringlets from their sleep. As I gain the gulf with pushing fro, and queens its pen I decidedly send. Then a meal of branches can a beach, three feet the cross till a form appears. I tap at the pane, the quick sharp skirt and blue spurt of faded mats, and I voice this loud, through its joys and fears. Then the two hearts beating each to each. Meaning of poetry Meeting at Night by Robert Browning is the speaker is at sea at night, heading towards the black land in the distance. He briefly paints a picturesque image of night at sea, but moves forward until he pulls his vessel up onto the sand. He walks a mile along the beach and then across 3 miles until he approaches his goal, a farm. He taps at the windows, sees the lighting of a match, and then is overwhelmed by the beating of his and his lovers' hearts as they reunite. Is period of American literature. The first, the colonial period, 1607 until 1775. This period encompasses the founding of Jamestown up to the Revolutionary War. The majority of writings were historical, practical, or religious in nature. 7. The Revolutionary Age, 1765 until 1790. This period includes the writings of Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, James Madison, and Alexander Hamilton. Important works include the Declaration of Independence, the Federalist Papers, and the poetry of Jules Verne and Philip Freneau. Third, the early national period, 1775 until 1828. This area in American literature is responsible for notable first work, such as the first American comedy written for the stage, The Contrast by Royal Taylor, 1787, The American Renaissance, 1828 until 1865, also known as the Romantic period in America and the Age of Transcendentalism. This period is commonly accepted to be the greatest of American literature. 5. The Realistic period, 1865 until 1900. As a result of the American Civil War, this period also gave rise to regional writing, such as the works of Sarah Orr-Jewett, Kate Coppin, Bret Harte, Mary Wilkins Freeman, and George W. 6. The Naturalist period, 1900 until 1914. American naturalist writers such as Frank Norris, Theodore Dreiser, and Jack London created some of the most powerfully raw novels in American literary history. The modern period, 1914 until 1939. The modern period is the second most influential and artistically rich age of American writing. The Great Depression and the New Deal result in some of America's greatest social issue writing, such as the novels of Faulkner and Steinbeck and the drama of Eugene O'Neill. 8. The Beat Generation, 1944 until 1962. This time period saw a rise in confessional poetry and sexuality in literature, which resulted in legal challenges and debates over censorship in America. And the last 9, the contemporary period, 1939 until present. After World War II, American literature has become broad and varied in terms of theme, mode, and purpose. Meeting periods of English literature. First, Old English or Anglo-Saxon period. In this period, discuss about the oral literature developed our written literature in the 7th century. Second, Middle English period. Third, the Renaissance or early modern. There is an increasing use by historians of terms early modern to denote this area. Fourth, Elizabethan age. A number of scholars have looked back on this era as one of intellectual coherence, social order. 5. Jacobean age. In this area, prose or readings by famous writers were published. 6. Caroline age. This was the time of the English Civil War. 7. The Commonwealth period. 8. The Restoration. 9. Augustan age or age of Pope. 10. Age or sensibility or age of Johnson. The age of Johnson stressed the dominant position of Samuel Johnson and his literary and intellectual circle. Romantic period. Romantic period is a term that covers the field of literary art and began to romantic novel that published. 12. The Victorian period. 13. Edwardian period. 14. The Georgian period. 15. Modern period. This period has been marked by persistent and multidimensional experiment in abstract matter, form, and style and produced major achievement in all the literary genres. And the last, postmodern. The postmodern is a name sometimes to the area after World War I, 1939 until 1943. Phenomenology and criticism. Phenomenology and criticism, the philosophical perspective and method called phenomenology, was founded by German thinker Edmund Husserl. He proposed that consciousness is a deliberate intentional act. He intentionally did not mean that it was intentionally done, but always directed at object. In other words, to be aware of something. Next, plots. Plots called Aristotle myths in dramatic or narrative works, formed by events and action. because these are given and ordered or achieve certain artistic and emotional. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.